Good day, everyone. Today, we explore how faith communities can become powerful agents of environmental change. Religious organizations represent one of the world's largest networks for social action, with unique moral authority and established community structures. This practical guide bridges the gap between spiritual conviction and environmental action, providing concrete strategies for implementing sustainability initiatives that honor both ecological responsibility and religious values. Our journey follows a systematic approach to faith-based environmental stewardship. We begin by establishing theological foundations that motivate action, then move through strategic planning and team building. Resource mobilization and practical implementation follow, with continuous evaluation ensuring effectiveness. Finally, we examine how successful initiatives can be scaled and sustained over time. This framework ensures that environmental programs remain both spiritually grounded and practically effective. Faith communities possess remarkable potential for environmental impact. With over 5 billion regular participants worldwide, these organizations control significant resources and infrastructure. Their moral authority enables them to influence behavior change in ways that secular organizations often cannot. The combination of regular gatherings, established trust networks, and shared values creates an ideal foundation for sustained environmental action. This represents a largely untapped resource for addressing climate change and environmental degradation. Environmental stewardship finds strong support across major world religions. Christianity emphasizes humanity's role as caretakers of creation, whilst Islam teaches the concept of khalifa, or stewardship of Allah's earth. Judaism speaks of tikkun olam, repairing the world, and Hinduism promotes ahimsa, nonviolence towards all living beings. These theological foundations provide the moral imperative that motivates faith communities to take environmental action, making ecological care a spiritual practice rather than merely a practical concern. Effective strategic planning begins with articulating your sacred motivation. Communities must clearly connect their environmental work to core religious teachings, creating a compelling narrative that resonates with members. This involves conducting thorough assessments of both community needs and environmental challenges, then setting realistic, measurable goals. The planning process should engage diverse voices within the community whilst maintaining focus on achievable outcomes that demonstrate early success and build momentum for larger initiatives. A strong vision statement serves as the foundation for all environmental initiatives. It must explicitly connect to faith teachings whilst addressing specific environmental challenges facing your community. The statement should inspire action by painting a clear picture of the desired future state. Effective vision statements are memorable, actionable, and deeply rooted in religious values. They provide the theological justification that motivates sustained community engagement and helps overcome resistance to change. Strategic prioritization ensures efficient use of limited resources. The Impact Implementation Matrix helps communities identify quick wins that build confidence and momentum. High-impact, easy implementation projects like LED lighting conversions provide immediate results and demonstrate commitment. More challenging initiatives require careful planning and resource allocation. This systematic approach prevents communities from becoming overwhelmed whilst ensuring steady progress towards larger environmental goals. Success breeds success in faith-based environmental work. Effective leadership in faith-based environmental work requires both spiritual grounding and practical skills. Leaders must be inclusive, engaging voices that might otherwise be marginalized, particularly youth and women who often bring fresh perspectives. Distributed leadership prevents burnout and ensures continuity. The most successful initiatives combine passionate advocacy with systematic project management, creating teams that can sustain long-term commitment whilst adapting to changing circumstances and opportunities. A well-structured green team balances spiritual leadership with practical expertise. Faith leaders provide theological grounding and moral authority, whilst coordinators manage day-to-day implementation. Technical experts ensure projects are environmentally sound, and community liaisons maintain broad engagement. Youth representatives bring energy and fresh perspectives. This structure ensures that environmental initiatives remain both spiritually authentic and practically effective, with clear roles and responsibilities that prevent confusion and overlap. Successful teams require both faith-specific training and practical skill development. Members must deeply understand how environmental action connects to their religious teachings through scripture studies and theological reflection. Simultaneously, they need technical knowledge about energy auditing, waste reduction, and sustainable practices. Communication and project management skills are equally important. This balanced approach ensures teams can articulate their spiritual motivation whilst implementing effective environmental programs that deliver measurable results. Resource mobilization requires strategic thinking about funding, partnerships, and community support. Faith communities possess unique advantages, including established giving systems and moral authority that attract support. However, they also face constraints around commercial activities and donor expectations. Successful resource mobilization combines traditional religious giving with innovative approaches like green bonds and environmental endowments. The key is aligning funding strategies with religious values whilst maintaining financial sustainability. Faith-based fundraising leverages existing religious giving systems whilst respecting theological principles around charity and stewardship. Traditional approaches integrate environmental projects into established collection systems like zakat, tzedakah, or dana. Modern innovations include green bonds and environmental endowments that generate ongoing income. The Indonesian Green Waqf system demonstrates how religious endowments can fund environmental conservation. Success requires clear communication about how environmental work fulfills religious obligations. Strategic partnerships are crucial for significant environmental impact. Collaborating with other faith communities, educational institutions, environmental NGOs, government agencies, and businesses provides expertise, funding, and broader advocacy. This collaborative spirit, akin to the Hindu concept of satsang, fosters collective wisdom and enhances overall effectiveness. Here we see a practical application of strategic partnerships in action. The Green Faith International Network. This global coalition effectively unites diverse faith communities to tackle environmental challenges. They achieve significant impact by coordinating advocacy campaigns across continents, pooling resources while respecting theological differences, and developing training programs that integrate spiritual wisdom with practical environmental action. Their collective voice powerfully underscores the moral urgency of climate justice, demonstrating how varied groups can work together for a common, vital cause. In this unit, we transition from understanding the concepts of interfaith environmentalism to practical implementation, beginning with our sacred spaces. These locations, central to community life, offer significant opportunities for sustainable practice. We will explore key areas such as energy stewardship, water conservation, and waste reduction. Each area presents specific, actionable strategies that can profoundly reduce environmental impact, aligning our ecological responsibility with spiritual values. Beyond managing our physical buildings, this card explores broader community actions for sustainability. We begin with sacred gardens, transforming unused land into productive spaces that provide food, drawing inspiration from religious traditions like the Jewish principle of Peah. Eco-education emphasizes integrating environmental themes into religious instruction for all age groups, exemplified by Buddhist environmental monk programs. Finally, Simple Living encourages workshops on sustainable lifestyle choices, referencing Gandhi's aparigraha to foster mindful consumption and reduce material dependency within the community. Let us delve into the crucial aspect of culturally adapting global best practices for sustainability. It's not enough to implement solutions. They must resonate with local traditions and values. We'll explore key principles, starting with community consultation and identifying local priorities. The example from Fiji demonstrates the power of integrating indigenous concepts, showing significantly higher participation rates than Western-modeled programs. This approach aligns with diverse cultural and religious texts, such as the quote from Leviticus, emphasizing stewardship and respect for the land. Moving to another example, the Bhumi Vardhan initiative in rural India illustrates successful cultural adaptation. This program began with a single temple garden and expanded to over 50 locations. Its efficacy stems from integrating sustainable agricultural practices with core Hindu principles such as ahimsa, meaning nonviolence, and a deep reverence for Mother Earth. The approach involved a careful, gradual transition to organic farming methods, ensuring farmers' economic stability. Furthermore, incorporating sacred ceremonies for planting and harvesting spiritually embeds these sustainable practices within the community, yielding over 200 tons of organic food annually for temple kitchens. Monitoring, evaluating, and continuously improving faith-based environmental initiatives are critical for ensuring their long-term success and impact. This systematic approach allows us to track progress, learn from experiences, and adapt our strategies. We will delve into how to establish meaningful indicators that capture both environmental outcomes and the unique spiritual or community benefits these programs aim to achieve. This framework provides the necessary tools for demonstrating accountability and fostering sustained engagement in integrating faith with ecological action. To effectively monitor and evaluate, a clear framework is essential. This table illustrates a simple monitoring and evaluation framework, outlining how specific goals, such as reducing energy use or increasing knowledge, are linked to measurable indicators. We then identify the methods for collecting data, like utility bill tracking or surveys, and establish concrete success targets to assess progress. This structured approach helps demonstrate the tangible impact of our faith-based initiatives. Various faith traditions offer profound insights into managing challenges and disappointments, particularly within ecological and community change initiatives. Firstly, we consider reframing setbacks not as failures, but as valuable learning opportunities, drawing on wisdom from Proverbs. Secondly, we acknowledge the necessity of radical patience, as meaningful change often requires significant time and steadfastness, a concept echoed in the Quran. Lastly, we advocate for adaptive management, highlighting the importance of modifying strategies based on new evidence while remaining true to core objectives, as suggested by 1 Corinthians. Here, we transition to documenting and sharing the positive outcomes of environmental initiatives. Effectively communicating success is vital for inspiring continued engagement, securing further support, and demonstrating tangible impact. We will explore various approaches, ranging from compelling visual evidence and personal narratives to quantifiable data and profound spiritual reflections. Each method offers a unique way to articulate the value and progress achieved through this important faith-based work. We begin Unit 6, exploring how to scale and sustain faith-based environmental initiatives. The Jewish concept of tikkun olam, meaning repairing the world, highlights that these environmental actions are a part of a divine calling to restore creation. By scaling our efforts, we significantly amplify this sacred impact. Successful expansion demands both a strong spiritual foundation and robust strategic planning. It is essential to maintain the unique theological integrity of these initiatives whilst adopting sound organizational practices to ensure their long-term viability. Having established the importance of scaling, let us explore three primary pathways to achieve this. Firstly, deepening initiatives within one's own community involves moving beyond singular projects to comprehensive integrated programs. An example is the First Green Church in Atlanta, which evolved from simple recycling into a multifaceted effort. Secondly, we can spread these models to similar communities, sharing resources and best practices for replication, as exemplified by the Green Mosque Initiative in Indonesia. Finally, building interfaith movements allows for broader collaboration, pooling resources and influence to advocate for significant societal change, a practice seen in Interfaith Power and Light chapters. Having explored avenues for scaling environmental initiatives, we now turn to how these practices can become firmly embedded within faith communities. True long-term sustainability requires environmental care to transition from ad hoc projects to fundamental operational procedures. This involves integrating green commitments into governance structures, establishing dedicated committees, allocating specific budget lines, and defining environmental responsibilities within job descriptions. This approach ensures these vital concerns are permanently woven into the community's fabric, as highlighted by the poignant Native American teaching presented here, emphasizing our intergenerational stewardship. Following our discussion on embedding sustainability, we now explore building interfaith collaborations. This card outlines 4 key strategies. First, identify shared ecological values common across faiths, transcending theological differences. Secondly, employ inclusive language when engaging across traditions to foster understanding. Thirdly, initiate practical projects to build momentum and trust through tangible action. Finally, leverage the collective moral authority of diverse faith traditions to advocate for environmental policy changes. The influential declaration at COP26 perfectly exemplified how these approaches create a unified and powerful voice for environmental stewardship. Having discussed interfaith collaboration, we now turn to legacy planning, which is crucial for ensuring the continuity and long-term impact of any initiative. This involves 4 key aspects. First, Effective leadership succession is vital, focusing on mentoring future leaders to smoothly transition responsibilities. Secondly, knowledge management is essential. Documenting processes and lessons creates an invaluable resource for incoming personnel. Thirdly, fostering community ownership ensures that the initiative's success does not rest on a single individual, but on a broad base of committed participants. Finally, establishing financial sustainability through diverse funding streams guarantees ongoing operational capacity. The Hazon Seal of Sustainability exemplifies successful scaling. Beginning with 11 organizations, it expanded to over 180 through strategic elements like a tiered certification system, integrating environmental action with Jewish teachings, and balancing professional staff with grassroots efforts and dedicated funding. The program now influences 10% of American Jewish institutions, achieving significant environmental impacts such as 1.5 plus million kWh energy saved annually. These questions are designed to help us explore how the Hazon Seal of Sustainability model can be applied within our own communities and organizations. Please feel free to share your insights, experiences, and ideas. Let's engage thoughtfully on how we can collectively advance sustainability inspired by faith principles. Your active participation is invaluable. Having reviewed a successful scaling example, we can now distill key principles for effective faith-based sustainability. These include grounding initiatives firmly in religious teachings, commencing with small, manageable projects to foster early success, and cultivating diverse, inclusive teams. Furthermore, continuous measurement and adaptation are vital for ongoing improvement, alongside cultivating robust partnerships to enhance overall impact and achieve sustainable, lasting change. Having explored the theoretical foundations, we now turn to practical application. This segment outlines concrete actions and supportive resources for initiating sustainability efforts within your faith community. We begin with immediate steps, such as forming a discussion group and conducting a facilities audit to identify tangible opportunities. Subsequently, we consider how to integrate ecological themes into community events and foster connections with existing environmental networks. These initial engagements are crucial for building momentum and establishing a foundational green team. On the right, note the available resources that can aid these efforts, including specialized guides, interfaith networks, and technical assistance programs. This strategic approach ensures informed and sustained action.